What's up there, guys? So, standing here next to me, this is probably one of the biggest upgrades that I have done to this building so far. This is a new INGERSOLL RAND 80-gallon air compressor. This stands to be a major upgrade over the old 33-gallon Husky that I was running. That air compressor, there's still nothing wrong with it, but it is getting too small for this shop. To put things into perspective, this is 80 gallons and flows 15 CFM at 90 psi. That was 33 gallons and only flowed about 5 CFM at 90. So therefore this is over double the capacity and triple the cubic feet volume of air. So today you're going to see us go ahead and install this finally into this building permanently. That involves running the wires for the electric hookup as well as the plumbing hookup for the air, and then a couple of little things to it that we need to change to make it fit this corner better. So I'll grab a beverage and come along for the ride. So the first change we are going to go ahead and make to this compressor is we're going to install a better drain under here. The one that's on it, this is perfectly fine and usable. You just screw it in, it drains out, and then you can unscrew it to close it back off. However, you do have to reach all the way under the tank. And when I add other stuff into this corner, I think it's going to be hard to get at. So we're going to go ahead and put an extension pipe on and run a ball valve to make it easy to open and close the drain on this. Pipe will probably come out here. Valve will be right here. And that is how that'll work. Alright, so the first step, we're going to go ahead and take out the old drain. So here's the old drain, as I was saying. Turn it in, it opens. Turn it out, it closes and seals. So now we're going to install a 90. I already put thread sealer on. So with the 90 installed, we're going to go ahead and put in the extension pipe. So up next, we're going to go ahead and install the ball valve onto the end of the extension tube right here. Make sure the valve is oriented where I can open and close it. Which is a little more. So last finishing touch on this is going to be adding a male airline quick coupler into this. It's going to go there. And what that'll allow me to do is when it's time to drain the tank, I will be able to plug a air line into here and run it out the door so that when I open this, any water that and moisture that comes spraying out of the tank will not actually be spraying out into the garage. It will drain out the door outside into the yard and keep the garage nice and dry inside. Alright, so next we're going to be using some pre-made pipe fittings and pieces of pipe, and right here we're going to mount the air dryer that I got for it, as well as mounting the old pressure regulator manifold that I got off of that rigid air compressor that we turned into an air pig a few videos back. So I'm going to use those parts to make basically the regulator manifold will be right here, and that's where I will hook up all my air lines. This red hose here, this goes back to the tire machine. So this is just a piece of 2x6 that I had laying around, cut it to length. This is the mounting bracket for the regulator manifold set off of that old rigid air compressor I took apart. What this will do is this will support the weight of this pipe here so that the weight of all of this doesn't want to unthread the pipe fittings out of this valve. So we're going to go ahead and hook the regulator set up now. Alright, so this line here and this ball valve is what will shut on and off the air to the tire machine. So air on, air off, that's at regulated pressure. Alright, so we're just about getting ready to put this compressor to work. I got an older Flexilla hose here that I've been using. I do like these Flexilla hoses. And then I figured I could take this chance. I'm going to make a second hose. So this is going to be two 50-foot hoses that I'm going to have plugged into each of these. So I have two hoses running at the same time. Or I can link them together to get 100 feet of air hose. This way I can get all the way out back anywhere in the machine shed and have air from this tank. So you can go ahead. I'll show you how to set an air hose up real quick. That. Got a nice new bright green on the Flexilla when they're nice and new, and then when they start to get a little dirty, but these are really nice air hoses to actually work with. So I am using, for my fittings, I am using 1/4 inch high flow fittings. These just happen to be from Husky. You could use the high flow anywhere. I like the fact that I can get more air volume, therefore get more power for a given pressure out of these. It takes out the bottleneck where other 1/4 inch air fittings tend to neck down the 3/8 line a lot more. These do not. To break it up, just gonna put a little bit of thread sealant on it. And thread on my fitting. It's a 9/16 wrench on the airline side and a 5/8 wrench for the fitting. Go ahead and tighten those down. Alright, there's a side that I'll plug into the manifold, and then this side, same thing. Just going to give it a little light coat of thread sealant. And put on the air chuck. And that's a bigger wrench. And there's your air chuck. Then you take these little rubber boots, slide them up over the bottom of the fittings. And there's a second airline ready to go to work. Alright, so in getting this thing ready to fire up, we need to make sure that we fill the crankcase with oil, because I do ship it with it almost empty for shipping. And then we also have to hook the electric up right here so that it will get power. So as far as oil goes, one thing that I did on this, just because I've seen this in the past, the oil plug is just a little pipe plug that threads into the crankcase of the compressor. And when you do eventually go to change this oil, because you do have to change the oil out every now and then, and you pull the plug out, it dumps the oil right on the frame and tank assembly of this and just runs down. And it's almost impossible to catch it in a drain without making a mess. So to make it easier on myself, I put a little piece of pipe where the plug goes with an elbow, and then I put the plug into this elbow. So now this, when I pull this plug out, the oil will come out here. Similar to what I did in the past on one of the lawnmowers. I make my services easy, because if you have an easy to perform service, it'll get done. If a service is a pain in the ass, it won't get done until it's too late. So we have to fill the crankcase with oil. The compressor did come with a quart of oil for it. Go ahead and open that up. I'm going to take this and I'm going to fill the crankcase. There is a sight glass right here, and I am going to go until I can get the oil about half to 3/4 of the way up, closer to half. Alright, not quite there. Go ahead and stop it right there. And of course, first time I run it, it'll probably cycle oil through the compressor, and I'll probably have to add more. Go ahead and put the plug back on. But as I said, we are about 3/4 of the way up the sight glass. I don't want to overfill it. I'd rather put enough in it that it can run, but it's not going to be overfilled. And then later, after I run it for about a few minutes and it cycles oil through it, if I need to add more, I can add more. As I said, there's still a little bit. Took about 3/4 of the quart to get about 3/4 of the way up. So here is that oil drain that I was talking about. See the plug's right there. Just gives it a little extension. And there's what the oil level in the sight glass looks like. Alright, so we're going to be installing my wire plug. You do have to get your plug separate. You have to make sure that whatever plug you do use to install this, it either matches the outlets that you have already installed in the wall, or you can hardwire this directly to a breaker. I have a outlet in the wall of sufficient size to operate this machine. Therefore, I just went ahead and I bought a pre-made, it's actually a dryer cord, 6 feet, and it had heavy enough wire to operate this compressor as well. So that actually made it easy for me. Just picked it up at Home Depot. Just pre-made dryer cord, 6 feet. My outlet's right in the back there. I got more than enough cord to make it. Go ahead. Here. Get the cord in there. I do have this unplugged. I am not doing this live. It's all unplugged and shut down. Alright, now for the white, so it goes and doesn't touch anything inside the box to short out. Go ahead and clip the end off. Clip off the end and tape that up. And over here, this is the electrical box. So I got line 1, line 2. The green is goes to my ground. The neutral I just have clipped back. And then the way this works, get your little lever here. When it's flipped forwards, makes contact. When you switch it off, it breaks contact. So there's the electrical. So now I'm going to go ahead, put this cover back on, and then tighten that screw up. Alright guys, hold on to your butts. Alright, so as you guys saw, this thing works. We got it up to pressure. Let's go ahead and check my work a little bit and make sure we ain't got any leaks. Here's the main air valve to supply air to the manifold. And our manifold is cranked all the way up. So, to adjust the pressure in the manifold, take this knob here, pull out to unlock it. I'm going to turn it to the left. I'll turn it down. Right now we're going to set my regulated pressure to about 100. And we're right around there. So I'll be getting 100 psi out of each of these fittings, and it'll be 100 psi to the tire changer. I am still going to be getting tank pressure out of this fitting. This fitting will be used if I want to plug into the 33-gallon tank and use that as like a cool down tank. So, but everything does seem to be working. So I'm going to go ahead. We'll shut this off. Actually, if I leave it, yeah, we'll shut that off. And I'm going to go ahead, crack the drain valve because we don't need to leave pressure in it. And this is ready to be put to work. All right. So here we have it. We got an 80-gallon INGERSOLL RAND air compressor ready to be put to work. We go ahead and just recap a little bit of what we did. We went and added an extension pipe with a ball valve for the tank drain on the bottom. Up here we added the regulator and manifold set from the old rigid compressor. This will supply regulated air for the shop. Got a pressure gauge telling me what my regulated pressure is at. This chuck here is giving unregulated air, so this will be whatever tank pressure is. Ball valve here controls the hose line for the tire machine. So if I'm not using a tire machine, I can leave it turned off, don't need any air to it. Where I am doing tires, I can go ahead and turn that on and supply air to the tire machine. Got a big air dryer cartridge in the back here. You got the main ball valve for supplying air from the tank to the shop. Got our electrical hookup up here, run nice and neat to the outlet on the wall. Had to go ahead and move the air gauge over to here so that I could actually read it because it was on the other side, and filled the compressor with oil as well as added an extension tube for the compressor oil drain. So that is what is involved in actually installing one of these big compressors into your shop. So now it is getting late in the night, and I'm going to go ahead and enjoy an adult beverage. If you like this content, please smash that like button and think about subscribing to the channel. And I'll catch you on the next one.